Okay, I'm going to give myself a little treat just because. Coming up next. Okay, so you've all heard me have discussions on, used to save Cuban cigars. I'm still kind of holding on to my Cuban cigars for kind of special occasions, but the occasions can be a little less special. So I broke out this Cuban punch out of the box yesterday to smoke it. Why? Well, kind of just because. So here, let's take a look at this. This is a gorgeous cigar. It's in a great size. It's a Robusto size. This is a little less than 5 inches long and maybe a 46 ring gauge. Perfect little Robusto size. I'm going to rotate it around there. A couple things I want you to see. Number one, I want you to take a look at that little hole there. All right. That hole is concerning, and I know it couldn't have been there. Well, I suspect it wasn't there when I got the cigar. It's one of the reasons why I rolled cigars around and inspect it. Now, you're going to see me do this here, where I show you what the end is. Let's talk about those two different things. Number one, hole in your cigar means there's something in your cigar. And that's not good. Number one, you get a little bit more than you paid for. And if you don't pay for little something creepy crawly hanging around in your cigar, that's bad. But two, if it came out of your cigar, it's possible it went in to another cigar in your box. So after doing this quick review, that means the homeboy's got to go upstairs and do an inspection. So I'm going to go and take all the cigars out. I'm going to run them through a quick inspection guide. And if I have to do some clean out and redo the humidor, then I'm going to have to. That's the beauty of having more than one humidor. But what I will also do is I will quarantine the cigars in that box. And what I mean by that is I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to put some of these little packs in that joker, right? Put a couple of these in that thing, and I'm going to leave them sit separate in a plastic bag, under quarantine conditions. We don't need no aliens running around in our cigar box. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The other thing I do, I always run a check on the end. Now, one, it gives you another problem with this. Let me go back. Another potential problem with that is airflow. The cigars are packed a certain way to give you a certain amount of airflow and give you a certain flavor profile from the cigars, just to keep it from getting too hot and to keep the cigar from going out. So one of the other problems with little perforations in your cigar is you affect the airflow. That is not a good thing. So that's another concern about having goodies in your cigar box. You just gotta watch for that. So one possible creepy crawly in there, although he's going to get smoked today, so we'll keep our eye on a hole to see if that joker crawls out, if there's something in there. Airflow and the possibility of damaging, contaminating the other cigars in the box. Now, getting back to the end, I show you the end of the cigar for another reason. You don't want to see any weird, crazy mold growing in your tobacco in your cigar box. That's an indication of not having the right kind of water in your hygrometer and your humidistat in your cigar box. could be really health-threatening mold in your cigar box. So you always want to check the end of your cigar to make sure that joker isn't furry. Furry and plume are two different things. Plume is that nice kind of a mold, little flecks, little fur that grows on the outside of your cigar. Now, I think the plume is typically, greenish. You have to check one of my other videos because I don't have any more real old cigars with the plume, but I think it's kind of greenish. Whereas a mold is going to be a white or a yellow. You don't want any yellow. We're not growing penicillin in the cigar box. So you got to watch that. So, all right, thus endeth the lesson. Let's talk about Punch Cigars. Punch Cigars is the original gangster cigar. This brand has been around since 1840. Let me say that again. This brand has been around since 1840, as we say in the Marine Corps. Okay? Long in the game. Now, the brand has changed hands with multiple owners over time. It is one of the iconic Cuban brands, of course, 1840, 1840. But also, it is now, it has maintained its Cuban version as well as a non-Cuban version. So, been in the game for a long time. Now, I have to say, one of the things that I enjoy now about doing the cigars and doing the cigar reviews, I pay attention a lot more to the cigars that I have smoked, and I know what I haven't smoked. I've been smoking cigars for 20 years, close to 30 years. Big fella has never ever smoked a Cuban punch. So this is going to be my first. Go back to the video again. Now ignore that hole. Ignore that man in behind the curtain. It's got a really nice cap work on there. The design of the label lets me know it's authentic. It's a little rustic. It's been hanging in the box for a couple of minutes. So, you know, any cigar you hang in the box that's not in plastic, you're going to have a little chicking at the foot. Just ignore that and continue to go with the flow. But here we have the Punch Havana. Didn't do a whole lot of research on it. Couldn't find this size. But one of the things I've seen on some things is I can expect a complex, kind of fuller flavor cigar than most. All right, I've done all kinds of lessons, learning, teaching, and stuff like that, which is good information. But now it's time to cut and light. And because we have a Cuban cigar, we're going to hit it with that Cuban cutter. See, it had some stuff in there. And again, Cuban cutter has that hole in there, which is great for torpedoes and perfectos, getting that little nub back there. Bam, you hit it with that, you get a straight cut every time. And let's look at that. All right, so this is not one of my better cut jobs. It's straight, but you see that joker's on an angle. That's, forgive me. Just because I do videos don't mean I'm perfect. I'm riding in the car. It's part of the thing that everybody likes is the authenticity. Here we go. Get this lighter out here, which is a punch lighter. I got this from an event at Wooden Indian. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, girl. Whoa. There we go. Had to come up over that hill. If you hear some grinding, big fella needs brakes. Want to get some brake work done tomorrow. Yes, I am. We just check something out real quick. Anyway, Now, I don't know if you can see that. You see that smoke coming out of there? That's what I was talking about. Hold on. That is definitely having an effect on the airflow. You guys see that? You see that? That's not good. You do not want to perforate your cigars because that's not good. So, definitely having an impact. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide the label up. We'll cover that hole up with the label, and we're going to make sure we grip it there so we get that good even burn. All right? Very important. You know, they're not all perfect. Not all cigars are perfect. Not everything is perfect. Not video shoots are perfect. I discovered that hole while I was in the car. So, we got to improvise. We got to use our heads. It's a hole. How do you plug the hole? You either stick your finger over that and hold the cigar there and still be the OG in the back, or you use the label and you can still be sophisticated and hold your cigar like that, okay? You just got to think yourself through the solution. Now, let's talk about taste. I say this to everybody. The first thing you want to know in making sure you have an authentic cigar from Cuba is when you smoke the Joker, does it taste like every other cigar you've ever bought that's not from Cuba? The answer to that question is a resounding no. This cigar does not taste like a Dominican, doesn't taste like a Mexican, doesn't taste like a Nicaraguan. This is a unique profile cigar, definitely Cuban, because Cuban cigars don't taste like cigars from anywhere else. I mean, that's the same. Well, think about it. Nicaraguan cigars don't taste like cigars from anywhere else. Dominican cigars don't taste like cigars from anywhere else. Mexican cigars don't taste like cigars from anywhere else. The reason why my palate is able to search out the uniqueness in a Cuban cigar is the infrequency that I have it. It doesn't blend into all the other cigars I've ever had, okay? Looking at the top of this tobacco is packed so tight. And the top of this cigar, it's unbelievable. I'm going to show you this. Now, you've seen what the foot looked like. I'm driving, so it's a little shaky. But that cigar is really, really packed in there. Now, I'm going to watch it, make sure no creepy crawlers crawl out of there. But it definitely has that mascarpone, sassafras essence that you get from a Cuban cigar. Now, what I will tell you with this one, it's a little more woody. It's got a little bitterness to it. I'm just gonna call it out. I mean, just because it's a Cuban cigar, my job ain't to sit here and tell you it's great because it's Cuban. This Joker's got a little bit of bitterness to it. Little bitter, little sour, gray ash. Another sign of Cubano. But definitely some spice. Definitely a little bit of cayenne pepper working in there. Not a lot, not overwhelming, but just a bit. Now, what I'm hoping is that as this Joker heats up a little bit, that we're going to get there. You know what I'm getting? I'm getting that red paper around a peanut. I'm getting that kind of bitter. But man, this thing is starting to heat up, back of the throat heat up. This is moving a different kind of pepper, and I don't normally get this kind of pepper from a Cuban cigar. It definitely stands apart from other Cuban cigars I've had. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. It's got some in it, but I paid $20 for this. Need to try another one before I make that final determination. But this is the first one, and one of the things before I establish whether it's a favorite or not, I need to know whether this is an outlier or whether this is what I should expect from a punch. I can see people who like medium to full body flavor cigars really digging this because it's definitely got that. Ain't no shame on this complexity game. This is a fairly complex cigar. This is not I wouldn't just call this a typical Cuban cigar with the usual suspect flavors that come along with a Cuban cigar. This gives giving me a little bit more than that, and I'm very grateful for that. All right. I know. I've been saying for a long time that you get the rest of the notes when you go to the www.thelancellife.com blog. I know. And I haven't posted anything on that blog practically all year. That's because I just finished my sci-fi book. I just finished all my editing. I have it in the hands of 14 people. Can you believe 14 people agreed to take my book, do a review of it, give me some feedback on it before I publish it. I expect that joker to be published around Christmas, which is a great time to buy a book for somebody. But anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do because, I'm this far in the cigar. I really want to enjoy and savor the flavor. So I'm going to probably keep the camera rolling just for me. But for you, this is the big fella. I think I'm going to sign out. Cuban Punch, the iconic brand from 1850. That would make that thing almost 170 years in the making. That's a lot of cigars, and it's really been a lot of good cigars. This is Charles Kelly from The Lance of Life saying peace and abundance.